It says right here in 2:58, have you not considered the one who argued with Abraham about his Lord because Allah had given him kingship? Indeed, Allah brings up the sun from the east, brings it from the west. So I guess the sun is revolving around the earth in that sentence. What do they say? What's the argument against that? Oh, they're just being metaphorical, man.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
okay,
it's
if
just
you're revealing the truth of the universe, you should tell us that Allah spins the earth. At least say Allah spins the earth.
uh-huh.
And then
You
here's
know,
another one.
one of my favorite biblical texts is I really like Ecclesiastes. I feel
Yeah,
I
it's
think
good.
it's
Good
beautiful how it
philosophy.
reads. Yeah, I just the end, the conclusion, like therefore worship God and all that. It's just okay, bad conclusion, but 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 the text has this telling of it says at the very beginning that
Vanity.
nothing changes. Vanity, the world
Nothing new
stays the
under the
same,
sun.
and the sun rises and goes. You know to its place, and then it comes back in the morning again, and then this happens again and again. And this book is written by by a guy, by a human. It doesn't have the same implication. You could say, okay, the biblical texts are thought to be inspired by God to these people, which is why they wrote them. So God intended things to be written that way. But with the Quran, you go many steps further, and you say these texts are not written by people. They are directly spoken by Allah Himself, word for word,
Right.
and then just revealed to Muhammad and put down by scribes. So you would expect accuracy more
Perfect
than
accuracy.
anything else in this Quran,
Now,
in this book.
now the funny thing about that is, at the time when this was written, they thought that the sun was in orbit of the earth, like the moon.
Yeah.
So if a god was revealing something to a person, and he said to them, "Hey, I'm the one that spins the earth and puts it around that would be fascinating. That would actually make somebody say, "Whoa, this might be real," but that didn't
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
So that's like, I'm just trying to put that out there. It's like, if this is really as a revelation, it's supposed to change my mind and make me worship something, shouldn't it have some really fascinating things that nobody can prove how it got there?
Yeah.
It doesn't do that.
Why doesn't the Quran tell us about space, about the galaxies, about the universe, about planets and this and that? It just tells us these
Well,
old,
atoms.
weird things that make us doubt the
Yeah.
Quran.
And then meanwhile, the philosophers from 500 BC, like Epicurus and Democritus, were talking about atomic theory back then. And then that gets pushed to the side. We got to have the church take over philosophy from the next 1,000 years. So then we got, here's another one. It is he who made the sun a shining light, and the moon derived light and determined for its phases, that you may know the number of years and accounts. Wait, so did they just say the moon gives off its own light?
Yeah, the issue
that.
is you're reading a translation that was actually altered maliciously, deceptively, and says reflective light. The text doesn't say that.
Oh, really?
The text directly says that the moon is a light. The sun is basically a torch, a shining light, and the moon is a light. That's what it says. The moon is
Right.
not a light.
The moon's not a light. Yeah. Here's another one. He causes the night to enter the day, and he causes the day to enter the night. And he has subjected the sun and the moon, each running its orbit for a specified term. That is Allah, your Lord. Him belongs sovereignty, and to those who invoke other to him and do not possess the membrane of a date seed. Huh?
Okay. There is another
So the sun has an orbit, guys. You better believe that, or you're going to burn in hell. Oh, here we go. And the moon therein reflected light that made the sun a burning lamp. What?
Wait.
When the sun is wrapped up in darkness, 81:1. What does that mean? What is the apologist's answer to that one? I'm trying to figure that out.
Well, Allah will apparently wrap up the sun on the day of judgment, but how do you wrap up this giant ball that you're spinning around? How does he wrap it up? Or the moon will lose its light or something like that, which is very ironic. The moon loses its light all the time. That's just how the moon works. So in Quran chapter 91, verse 1 to 4, it says, by the sun and its brightness, and by the moon as it follows it, the sun, and by the day as it displays it, the day displays the sun, and by the night as it covers it. So the night covers the sun.
It's like the old Christian terminology for the what's that thing they call that holds the sky up? The firmament.
Firmament, yeah.
It holds up the waters so that we don't have floods.
Well, the Quran also says that Allah holds up the sky so it doesn't fall down on us, and He holds it up with pillars that we cannot see, and things like that. It is ridiculous.
I wonder if they actually thought that blue sky was actually waters running past them. They actually thought that. Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, the Quran also says that Allah sends water through the sky, and that is rain.
Yeah, and then He just leaks it a little bit so that we can get rain.
Yeah, we have some rain.
He's such a good builder.
One thing that I love to talk about, and this is the last thing that I just want to mention in regards to the sun and science, is that the Quran also says that the sun runs towards a stopping point, or as it is translated literally, toward its resting place. And there is further a tradition, a narration from Muhammad, where he talks about this. He sits together with one of his followers, and he says to his follower, "Do you know where the sun goes at sunset?" And he says, "Allah and His apostle know better." And you usually know when somebody says Allah and His apostle know better, he will usually say something totally stupid. Yeah,
right. It's always like we don't know this, but Allah knows. Only Allah knows.
And then he goes on and says, "Well, the sun runs toward its stopping point, or its resting place, under the throne of Allah, and there it prostrates to the throne of Allah, and then it asks for permission to rise again. So Allah gives it permission to rise, and then it comes back and rises again from its rising place and goes to its resting place." But one day,
that's a flat Earth theory right there.
Yeah, yes. But one day, it will go to its resting place. It will be prostrating under the throne of Allah. It will ask for permission to rise again, but Allah will not give the sun the permission to rise, and will say to the sun, "Go back where you came from." So the sun will then rise from the west, and that will be the first sign of the last hour, of the coming of the day of judgment, and no repentance will be accepted after that day.
I didn't even know that. That's in the Quran?
That is in the Hadith, but
still, Hadiths are pretty serious.
Yeah, and this is
very few Quran only.
This is by Islamic standards definitely authentic, by Islamic standards, I say. And this is also, if you ask Muslims about the signs of the Day of Judgment, which is a very popular narrative, Islam relies heavily on eschatology. They will cite the sun rising from the west as the biggest or first sign of the Day of Judgment. This is what they believe is built on. I mean,
so in a world where the Earth is round, that would mean that somebody in one side of the world would literally see the sun. I mean, first of all, we have to pretend that the sun revolves around the Earth. So this doesn't make sense at all. But let's say it does. Let's say the sun does revolve around. Wait a minute. So that means people today still think the sun revolves around the Earth?
Well, they would reinterpret this today as saying, well, it will just, the sun will, the Earth
would stop spinning and turn the other way?
Yeah.
This doesn't make any sense. This is so weird.
Why would that happen?
And then because my one friend, he's a flat earther and he's a Muslim. He's a flat earther because he's a Muslim, which shows you how problematic Islam is. But
I knew someone like that too.
He would interpret this. He's a good guy. I love the guy, but this is where his head's at. God bless him. Pun intended. But he would think that the sun is going underneath the flat earth and just waiting there. Like that's what to him, that text would make perfect sense. The sun is going to go underneath the flat earth. We're all going to be in darkness. And that's like that. That's where their head, that's where the mentality is.
I mean, I understand how some people may believe that the earth is flat and that the sun is up there the entire time, like, moving above us. But how the hell can you in today's time, believe that the sun actually goes under the earth someplace? I mean, that would be, that's ridiculous.
I don't know if that's not enough for you right there to think about some stuff. I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah. But there's so much more that we can add to this. But
there really is. This could be a 10-hour conversation if you really want. If we really wanted to go to like exhaust all these examples out. Like I had a list that I was going through when I was reading those. That was just like there was like 90 of them. Like I just picked out the ones that I saw right away.
Well, I made a huge video, which is the video that I worked the longest on, which is called The Scientific Mistakes of the Quran, in which I listed 60 scientific mistakes in the Quran. So, and it is full. I mean, it's 60 mistakes, but some of
I'm
the
gonna leave a link for
mistakes
that
have,
one in the description for
yeah,
people who want to check out more. And then
yeah,
they could
some of the
really,
mistakes have several different Quran verses listed. So, if you want to bring it down to how many mistakes there are in the Quran, there are a lot, you know.
and you know what? And we'll close on this. And that's the problem, is that the only way for this to actually be a true book is that you have to descend into conspiracy theories that NASA's lying to us, the Earth is really flat,
Yeah.
everything's all just a conspiracy to make this book not be real. That's what that's the only way to make it work. And then you have to go
Well,
down the road of predetermination too, which,
or
which is even more problematic.
or you have to sit down and diligently reinterpret everything that this book says and strictly arguing that your reinterpretation is actually true and that all those who read the book as it is are basically deceptive liars. And that is something that is unfortunately very commonly done today.
Yeah. Hey man, thanks for coming on. We'll definitely do this again, and it's very soon. You know, a couple weeks, maybe a month or two. But it's been great. And everybody, go, if you're not subscribed to him already, go and subscribe.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. It was a fantastic conversation. I would love to come back and do this again.
Definitely.
And stay away from Islam.